Just breathe. That should be my introduction for now on. When I do these episodes, it's just breathing, just acknowledging the presence of the Almighty Aliyah. So, welcome back. I know it's been a minute. And I kept my word. I'm going to talk about religion. And for those who didn't watch my mythology, listen to my mythology episode. Go back and watch it when you get done watching this. You're not going to really miss nothing, or it's not going to overlap or sound like it's similar. Because there is some similarities, but there's a big difference. That's why there's a different segment. So, religion. Where am I going to start? The beginning, obviously. So, my introduction to religion was through my mother, actually. I probably was 7 or 8 years old when I asked her, who is Jesus? Because I just remember that I would always hear people mention Jesus, and I would always, like, my grandmother, we would go to my grandmother church, we as in my immediate family, and I was just a curious person. And of course, Christianity was my introduction to religion, because I said Jesus, I mentioned Jesus. So that's how I found out the branch of Christianity. I didn't know what Christianity was as a whole, but that branch alone is what introduced me. So I had to remind myself just now, I don't want to focus on Christianity, because I'm going to make a whole different episode about Christianity and any other religion, branch from religion that comes to my mind. So, and I probably would need to pull out my notes for the ones that I haven't experienced rather than observed, because there's always one with the other. I mean, I just don't want to obliviously mention something that I have no clue about. That's what I'm not about that. So this episode is just going to be the surface of religion as a whole, talking about the whole family tree rather than just one particular branch. So that's the disclaimer. And the second disclaimer, excuse the noise in the background. I'm always in an environment that is noisy, but that would change soon, because great opportunity has arose thanks to the Almighty. So there's a lot of amazing, marvelous things that's going to happen soon, and I can't wait to share it all with you all. So yeah, back to the topic, religion. So yeah, religion was my introduction through my mother. My father started off singing in the church, so I knew about church. For its definition, had no clue until I got older. So I'm gonna fast forward, not necessarily so I'm gonna fast forward. I don't want to go back, because then I would be repeating myself over and over again. So I'm gonna save my experience with Christianity for that episode. So I'm not gonna mention that in this one, because then I would be overlapping, and then it would be no point of me making a part 2. Not necessarily a part 2, but just a whole episode about Christianity. Moving on. So I'm going to fast forward to college then. That's where I really found out about religion. Now, like I was just saying a few seconds ago, if I haven't made it clear, I'm making it clear now. Christianity was the only branch of religion I really knew about. So that's all I had to offer. That's all I had to talk about. And just not what I have observed, but what I have experienced as well. that's all I had on the table. It wasn't until my end of sophomore year of college, I went to summer school at St. Louis Community College, Merrimack. And I have to tell y'all, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful campus. One of the most beautiful, yeah. I never been to Flow Valley, so I don't know if they neck to neck when it comes to beauty. But anyway, and I had a pretty dope professor at Merrimack as well. So I took world religion. That's where I took world religion at. And boom, that opened my eyes, because I was very closed-minded and didn't even realize how closed-minded I was. I had no exclusiveness at all. Inclusiveness, not exclusiveness. And when I tell y'all, I love how the professor went in order in regards of introducing what world religion is. So we started off by, the professor started out by asking us, what is religion? So we had a whole segment on that. Then after that, Hinduism was the first religion I learned about. Then after Hinduism, it was Buddhism. What came after? Then it was Taoism, Confucianism. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Definitely Confucius. And what is the fifth one? The fifth one was Judaism. The sixth one was Christianity. The seventh was Islam. And the eighth final subject we did was Class of Civilizations. I found that very interesting. So after I took that class, and I love how the professor was not biased. Like, the professor was so inclusive that it left me wondering, well, what's their background? Like, that's how inclusive the professor was. And that's how every professor should be, especially if you're going to school people on religion. So when I learned about religion, I really did learned it from an unbiased point of view. I can honestly 100% say that. And I came in it humbled. I got tired of, because before I took that course, I got tired of people, me rather, going back and forth with people. It's something called witnessing within Christianity, which I will elaborate more on in the next episode. So it's something that I would do called witnessing, and I would notice I would get in these conversations with people, and it left one or the other or both angry or irritated. And I'm like, I'm tired of doing that. I'm not finna witness to people and we just gonna headbutt each other like, this right, no, that right, that's wrong, this wrong. I just got tired of that, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna humble myself when I take this class, and I'm honestly gonna learn from an unbiased point of view. So I already came not knowing how the professor was gonna approach the topic of religion. I just knew how I was going to approach it. So I was approaching it with being open. I was open to learning something new, even if it went against what I believed at the time. I'm not a believer anymore. I'm a knower. But like I said, I'm going to get into that. So at the time, I'm like, even if it goes against what I stand for, I'm still willing to learn it. I honestly want to learn about religion as a whole. And that is what I did. Instantly, the first, because before I took that course, I was already skeptical. So when I saw that course was an option for me to take, I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and take it. I need a social course that's broad. I needed to take a course like that anyway. Especially if I'm going to especially if I wanted. Okay, I'm gonna talk about that later. But yeah, it fitted the major I was in. We're going into mass communication, and I'm like, that would be perfect for me to take that course at the time. So the first thing we learned was just the terminology of religion. And once I read the definition from someone else's point of view and they was describing religion, I'm like, okay, it's a pattern. These religion and ideology kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of equivalent to one another. And ideology is just perspective, someone's experience of a higher being. And for some people, it's an object of worship for some people. So I noticed a pattern, and that pattern was confirmed when I started really reading, because the professor had us read a book. It's a World Religion book. I don't know. It probably is called just World Religion. I don't know who it's written by. But moving forward, had us reading a book and we read articles. And we did that within a time frame where we really... And I used methods from my reading course that I took. So I highlighted I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I highlight a lot of words. I trace words back to its origin. I used my analytical skills. I really did take my time and really did open my mind to really learn and put myself in these shoes as if I created the religions myself. That's how deep and invested I was into really learning about it. Because I was like, you know what? I am not going to argue with people about religion no more. I am going to learn this stuff for my own. Because I ain't willing to learn it from no one else's perspective anymore. Like, enough is enough. So... after learning about Christianity, Jerusalem, Islam, and those three have a lot in common. Oh, if I would have known that, I would have never... I was so ignorant as a young adult. Because I was in Christianity from 16 to... Now it's different. And like I said, I'm going to explain it. But Christianity, being in the church... I was 15. Yeah, I was 15. So I'm not going to elaborate much on that. I'm trying my best not to elaborate on that. So, pardon me, y'all, if I got to pull myself back a bit. Calm down. Because I'm so excited to talk about it. Because I know it's going to help someone. I know I'm not the only one that went through it. Maybe it's some similarities. Maybe there's not. But at the end of the day, I strongly feel like somebody can learn from it. But anywho... yeah, just having this one particular branch that I only knew about, I was so one-sided, and I just got tired of... I got tired of feeling defeated or feeling like... It became to the point where I questioned my belief at the time, and I was like, wait a minute. I need to be firm in what I stand on, what I believe in. So that's the main reason why I wanted to learn about religion as a whole was to gain a sound mind. I wanted clarity on what I was worshiping, why I was worshiping, what is religion, why it exists. Like I just wanted my purpose was just to have a sound mind. I should be able to rush something without having worries, doubts, questions, what ifs. I just wanted a sound mind. I wanted to flow freely as a dove in what I'm diving myself into. Like, I just wanted to feel a level of freedom in whatever I'm involved in. So that was my purpose. I just wanted make it make sense. And it did. Eventually, it did. Ooh, the Almighty showed out. Yes, Aliyah have. Ooh. And I'm going to make a whole separate episode about Aliyah. Because I know a lot of people like, who is what? Are you talking about the singer? No. Because people who know me or know of me know that my favorite artist of all time is the R&B singer Aaliyah. And notice I pronounce the names differently. When I speak of the Almighty, I'm speaking of the Almighty in the pronunciation of Aliyah, because that's the actual correct pronunciation. Now, Aliyah is how she pronounced it, and you can go, and let me not say she, it's how Aaliyah pronounced it. And you can go back and surface up an interview of her pronouncing her name. I'm going to speak on terminology too, because I just said something that I said I wasn't going to say, and I said it anyway. Y'all have to excuse me. My rational process is, in numerology speaking, is 7. So I'm very analytical. And sometimes I can be analytical to the point that I'm over analytical. And that's where the overwhelming come in at. So I don't want to overwhelm myself, y'all. Sometimes I can dig too deep into things and make a big deal out of something when all I had to do was just breathe. That's what I said in my introduction. I'm going to just start breathing. I'm not going to say, I'm just going to breathe and let the Almighty be heard. But no, seriously, that helps. Just breathe before I say something so I won't be overly analytical and stretching something out, making something deeper than what it has to be. So, yeah, I just want to make that point that I will have an episode about Aliyah. That way people can have a deeper comprehension of how far I evolved from religion, because eventually that's what happened. So back to the topic discussion, which I didn't really go too far from. So I'm doing good. But yeah, so it was, let me see. It's playing out in my head, y'all. Give me a minute. Second rather. Yeah, so it wasn't until I took that course, where I was like, wow, I can't, I'm shocked in how close-minded I was. And I'm so grateful I was willing to reverse that. I was willing to say, you know what, let me be open to other people's point of view. That way, when someone of a different religious background come to me, I can be more open and comprehensible when they approach me and when they discuss their beliefs, their values. So it wasn't until I got to Judaism, because I learned I didn't know that it was I didn't know that there was a lot of differences between Judaism and Christianity. I thought there was just 2 peas in the pot. 2 peas in the pot. Yeah, they 2 peas in the pot, but it's like, imagine one pea being a different color than the other one. It's some differences. It's some strong differences between the two, actually. Because I was under the impression that they was the same. I gained so much clarity, so much peace, and I was just like, wow. Now, one thing I can say, and I'm going to say it again because I know I just said it a few seconds ago, if not minutes ago, that religion is equivalent to ideology. It really is. And religion can be traced back all the way to mythology. That's why I did mythology, the episode mythology first, because mythology birth storytelling. Like you're telling the story of someone or something, of some form of experience. You're telling that story of what you observed or what you witnessed other people live through, which ties into observing. But just like really writing out experience, putting experience on ink, on a piece of paper, forming it into a book, and so many other outlets, so many publishing ways that you can just reach out to people. Communication is very powerful, by the way. But yeah, like that, in that moment, it made me realize that, wow, religion really is equivalent to ideology, because this is really someone's idea of connecting to the Almighty. the pattern, let me speak on the patterns that I noticed. So there is a religion before Hinduism. Hinduism is not the oldest religion. Let me see, can I get my notes? Because I'm by my book bag. So let me see, since I'm by it, where I have these notes in. I highlighted so much, so it shouldn't be hard for me to find it. I'm so happy I done that and actually use my learning skill, which is my kinesthetic learning skill. I'm going to activate that right quick for you all. And then y'all know I am not going to be rambling and all over the place. Not today. You got to be ready, so you won't have to get ready. So let me look into here. Let me see. I'm so happy I still have these notes, and it's still fresh as if I printed these papers out today. Yes. But since I got this right here, I might as well read this to you all. A War of Religions. Ooh, that was the end. Okay, I might read that to y'all before I conclude this episode, if I remember to do that. Definition of religion. Posted material. So yeah, the first week I found Hinduism, so I'm gonna read that next. So and I was so organized. I'm so happy, y'all. Okay, let me calm down. What I have in front of me right now is the definition of religion from the point of view of whoever. My professor did not credit the writer. Nope, did not credit the writer. So whoever wrote this, my bad, because there's no accreditation in front of me. I can't shout you out if I don't have your name. Okay, moving on. Definition of religion. Cal Jones wrote in his essay. Okay, so I see a name, I highlighted, that it is apparent that religion can be seen as theological, it could be seen as philosophy, sociology, psychologically. Let me see. Yeah, so it's kind of similar to what I said, ideology. All these ologies. Whoa. Okay, I ain't gonna read all that. But yeah, this person basically said what I said. I just said it in a more simple way. Ideology. He named out every word that rhymes with ology, from psychological, theological, and anthropological, and yeah, just moving on. Because he basically saying the same word, just using different spellings. Get it? Spellings. Okay, let me stop. Before I dig down the rabbit hole. Just Hinduism. This is the one I wanted. Yeah, so there was a religion before Hinduism. I'm looking for the name of it because that's really why I just want to. What I really want to tell y'all. So yeah, the purpose of me wanted to tell y'all about the article that I read about Hinduism was there was a religion before it. Okay, here you go. Before Hinduism, there exists another religion in India called Brahmanism. I hope I'm pronouncing, please, because I ain't good with pronunciations, y'all. And that's mainly because I have anxiety, which came from past childhood trauma. But moving on, I'm going to talk about that in another episode. But yeah, Brahmanism and its followers were called Brahmins. The Brahmins were the spiritual and moral guides of the Indian society. The members of its religion were a close set and others could not join it. So it was very selective, like a cult, like a secret society. That's the vibes I'm getting from this. So it says, the Brahmins slowly started accepting others into their religion, and so was created Hinduism. That explains why Hinduism embraced all the gods. Like Hinduism, when I talk about religion, I always want to make sure I mention Hinduism, because Hinduism was the first religion to... I'm going to have to make a part 2 on religion, because there's so much. I just realized in this very given moment that there's so much to talk about. And there's going to have to be different titles and segments. That's why I said I'm going to talk about Christianity in its own branch. I'm going to talk about Hinduism in its own branch, because that's really what I want to... I'm going to talk about Hinduism first, but don't hold me accountable to it yet. I'm not going to talk about it in the next episode. However, I am going to address it. I am going to talk about it. But yes, this Hinduism is actually the first religion to embrace all the gods. And there's a name for it. Hold on. There's a name for it. I'm going to describe it until I find the name. So, yes. Polytheism? Is there more than one? Let me look up the definition. Because Christianity... Now, there's different parts of Christianity that embrace polytheism. But Christianity as a whole is supposed to be monotheism. Yes. So monotheism is the doctrine or belief that there is only one God. That's... Let me pull this pronunciation up right quick.
Monotheism.
Yes. Monotheism is the word for people who believe that there's only one God. And polytheism embraces multiple. And there's another one. Another theism. You see, terminology is something, y'all. It's called... I know it's not called sociotheism. It's something that starts with an S. And it embraces the ideas from the other guys and forming it to one. Now, that's deep. That's deep. I'm going to make sure they don't have nothing to do with Hinduism, though. Anyway, I'm not going to focus too deep on Hinduism. I just want to point that particular part out. There was a religion before. So, the reason why I'm saying all this is because if whoever listening to this, if you want to learn about religion, you need to trace religion back to its original origin. You need to trace it back to the first religion. Now, according to this article that I have, and once again, there's no writer that's credited on here. However, you can look it up yourself. You can just type up Brahmin religion, and trace it back to see where did that come from. Did that come from something? Because I'm going to trace it back. I haven't traced it back yet. So if you want to learn about religion, start from the beginning. Don't start from the middle. Don't start from its present, because you're gonna get lost. Don't be like me in the beginning. I was introduced to Christianity, and when I can't speak for everybody else, but in Christianity, okay, I had to stop myself. Save that for Christianity, Kriya. Oh my goodness. Save that for the next episode. But one thing I can say, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I noticed that when people in certain religions, the pastors feed them this, what's the word I'm looking for? This narcissistic behavior. They pass that behavior down as if that's the only right religion. Like, oh, my religion better than yours, you going to hell, this ain't right. It's always a penalty if you don't stick with it. I noticed the punishments, the patterns. I'm like, why do you have to threaten? That's threaten people. What? I've seen some patterns, and that's just not with one particular branch. There was multiple branches that would say, oh, if you don't do this gonna happen to you. And I'm not gonna 100% debunk that. It's just the matter of how you approach it. Like, consequences do exist. If you eat poison ivy, you will get sick. Like, there's what is it called? Casualties. There's cause and effects to a lot of things, to everything actually. So there's something to peep. There's something to tap into. Something to learn about. Patterns. Follow the patterns. What do all these religions agree upon? What do they all disagree on? Now, some of these religions, and I'm not going to say no names, I say which one is who once I do the branches separately. I'm going to do the branches. I'm just talking about the whole tree in this episode. I'm going to keep reminding myself that. So I'm not repeating myself for the sake of you guys or ladies remembrance, but for the sake of mine. Like, just to remind myself to hold up, say that. I just really want y'all to get the whole tree in this episode. So pay attention to the patterns. Pay attention to what else I want y'all to pay attention to? The gods that they worship too, because one of these religions, it probably was Hinduism. So whoever this author was that wrote this article, if it wasn't Hinduism, it was Buddha. So one of them stated that, one of the authors of these articles stated that many people argue, like, your God ain't real because you worship the external God. The God is supposed to be worshipped internally, in the inside, not on the outside, the outer world. So you have those different type of conflicts. You have even monotheism versus polytheism. That's a conflict. There's one God, and you have other people that argue, there's multiple gods. And it's like, well, sweethearts, and I'm going to make an episode about God too. Show this. First of all, you need to know who God is before y'all sit here and argue about polytheism versus monotheism. Learn who God is, because, ooh, child, Learn who God is before you sit here and argue with somebody. And that's what I had to do. The Almighty corrected me, sure did. I'm talking about it all. Some people gonna get mad that I know. Now, I don't know who gonna get mad that I don't know, but people that know me personally gonna get mad, and I don't care. I don't know if it's gonna be everybody or somebody I know gonna get mad once I drop them videos. And I don't care, because at the end of the day, America, colonized America, because that's not the original name of this land, Turtle Island. It's the original name. It's supposed to be the land of freedom of speech. Everything comes with a cost. Everything, including speech. So that was a lie. Whoever started that phrase, lied. Ain't no freedom of speech. Not in this country. So, but at the end of the day, I had to come to a permanent decision and just say, you know what? It ain't what you say, because you should be able to say anything you want to say. It's how you say it. So I'm just conscious of how I say things. It's not that I'm scared to say it, because I'm going to say it regardless if people like it or not. Just know it's going to be said. And I'm going to say it with a clear intent, with a clear mind, to clear out any confusion. So it's necessary and it's important for me to talk about all these things that's forbidden. A lot of people don't want to talk about religion. A lot of people don't want to talk about mythology. A lot of people don't want to talk about politics because they're afraid that it's going to run people away. A lot of people don't want to talk about sexuality. Oh, don't talk about homosexuality. Don't talk about heterosexuality. Oh my goodness, don't talk about none of that. And it's like, you don't know how to approach it. That's why you're scared to talk about it. Because you don't know how to approach it. It's all about the matter of approach. It's all about the matter of approach. If you're not speaking on these matters to heal self, then maybe you shouldn't speak on it. Maybe you should be scared. But if you have the intent that I have to heal, then freely speak on it. Because that's why I'm speaking on it. Me learning all this stuff came healing. And I would be selfish to withhold. Because I would never know personally who I'm helping unless people reach out and say, hey, you helped me when you did this, when you did that. But how am I helping people by withholding all this knowledge that I have? I'm not going to do that to the people. Because we live in a world where it comes with a price. But you know what? My price going to come with healing. Because once you have a high level observance, once what you observe has a high frequency, you control it. Now, in regards of observation, some people are controlled by what they see, and then the others is controlled by what... Hold on, because I just got distracted. Told y'all I'm not in the right environment, but it won't happen for too long. Hold on. I'll be right back. Turn this light on so I won't fall. All right, so what I was saying was that I was speaking of observation. Some people are controlled by what they see in the one, and that's the people of low vibration. But the people that have a higher vibration, they control what they see. It's a difference. Low vibration of observation is controlled by what they see. Those of high observation controls what they see. It's a big, big, big difference. Once you gain control, you gain the proper knowledge there is to gain. You can freely speak on things with the right intent. But when you, and that price won't be so painful when you have the right intent. But when you have the wrong intent, expect the price of freedom of speech to come with destruction when you don't have the right intent. So I just wanted to say that and leave it there for those who need to hear that. Okay, back to the matter. There's a lot of paradox. I'm looking at the notes that I took from this course, and there was a lot of paradox within some of these articles that I was reading. And for those who don't know what a paradox is, from my point of view, I look at it as a person being a hypocrite. You saying this right, but you're showing me what's wrong about it. That's how I look at a paradox. Now, even Google says it's a contradiction. Even Google said it. So I'm not the only one. So that's how I look at a paradox. And it was a lot of paradox within these articles of these different branches, just not one in particular. So yeah, there's a lot of informative things to learn about religion. And if y'all don't learn anything else from this episode, please know that religion is equivalent to ideology. Ideology is an idea that has been manifested to reality. Now, another common ground that I found within religion as a whole, and when I say as a whole, I'm talking about with every religion, no matter what religion you mention, you will always find that there is a way. That TV is so loud. Anyway, there's always a way. Okay, they can't be deaf, for they have to turn the TV up that loud. Okay, I'm sorry. See. So, clearly this ain't my house, so I can't run it and tell them to turn it down. Okay, so with every religion, there's a way. A way of what? A way of to some level of salvation, freedom. It depends on what religion you in and what they call it. Some people call it the freedom. Some people call it salvation. Some people call it deliverance. Any other name, etc. But just know the purpose of them creating a way is to free people. Why do we need to be freed? Freed from what? Message. I'm asking those questions so it can stimulate your brain for y'all to look it up for yourselves. Because there are certain things I will mention. It's just not going to be in this episode. But in the meantime, y'all can look some of this stuff up for yourself. And you will be amazed. You will be amazed. I'm telling you. Because I'm amazed looking back at it. So, yeah, that was another common ground that I saw with religion. There's always a way. A way of freedom, a way to get out of something. And another thing that I noticed is there's always a message. There's always a leader. There's always a prophet. Like Jesus was I wouldn't say prophet. Well, you can say messenger, prophet. Yeah. Jesus was the messenger in Christianity. Is the messenger. I'm not going to say was. I can see if, in 2020, the Pope or whoever in Christianity says, you know what? We're going to give Jesus a different name. Speaking of name changes, that happened too. And just not in Christianity. Message. Anyway. That's part of the reason why I converted. Anyway. One of the main strong reasons why I converted. Anyway, so my point that I'm making is that's another pattern, is that there was always a messenger in these religions. Hinduism is one of the only religions that was open to embracing and accepting a lot of gods, but their messenger was, I don't want to mispronounce that name, so I'm going to spell it. Vishnu. And I pronounced it anyway. Vishnu. Vishnu. Please excuse my pronunciation. So there was always a creator in these different religions. So they're like in Islam, there's Allah. I'm going to tell y'all what Allah means in the Islam episode that I'm going to do. That might be the shortest one, because Christianity history is so long. Islam has, let me not say history, but the social science behind it all is pretty deep and interesting. And I want to talk about all three of them separately, and then I'm going to do an episode and talk about them together. I want to talk about the similarities, because a lot of people, especially in Christianity and Islam, go back and forth and say, your God ain't real. No, your God ain't real. Your God ain't real. Just because y'all pronounce God in a different language, message, doesn't mean y'all not serving the same one. Message. See, the language has got y'all twisted up. Y'all think just because it's a different language, it's a different entity, it's a different energy, it's a different everything. No, it's not, sweetheart. Learn your languages. Message. Linguistics. Message. I just wanted to say that. I couldn't say that. I couldn't say that for another episode. I had to say that. So while some of y'all arguing, be careful what religion you bash. Y'all about to learn about Hinduism. I'm gonna give y'all. I'm not gonna say it's a riddle. I'm gonna speak in a parable. I'm gonna give y'all a little parable. Hinduism doesn't embrace all the gods for the fun of it, for no reason. It's a reason why Hinduism embrace all the gods, not one, not two, all. Old, new, ancient. Message. It's a reason. So yeah, if you want to learn about religion, learn about the terminology first, then learn about whichever one the people within this world consider to be the first. Like I said, I'm going to learn about Brahmin. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I know I keep saying that, but I'm big on pronunciations. I don't want people to pronounce my name wrong, so if you didn't know, now you know. I don't want to pronounce nothing wrong, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave that name alone. But I'm going to do further. I'm not going to say research, because I'm not withdrawing from anything. If anything, I'm tracing stuff back. So that's more of an investigation. I'm going to do a deep investigation on the religion that came before Hinduism, because I can learn and find more out about religion just doing that. So yeah, I encourage people to learn, embrace, not necessarily embrace, but learn about religion as a whole, just not the one that you were born into. And I say you as in second person to make it more relatable, because a lot of us were because I was born into religion. So I'm speaking from personal experience. A lot of us was born into a certain religion and automatically feel we above other people who are in different religions and will bash them, because I was one of those ignorant people. And the Almighty corrected me. You want to know why the Almighty corrected me? Because I was willing to be corrected. I was like, please let me know something. Why am I here? Like I came to a point where it's like I would be an atheist, because I was this is my first time saying this. I was so close to becoming an atheist. I'm like, because I got tired. I got tired of the back and forthness. I got tired of not knowing religion as a whole. I just got irritated, and then the Almighty said, all you gotta do is just be willing. Just start tracing stuff back. And ever since the Almighty told me that, that's exactly what I done. Done it so calmly, so swiftly, so unapologetically, so unpremeditated. That's how I know the difference. And I said this in one of my episodes before, probably the episode before mythology, where I said the difference between me and the Almighty, although the Almighty used my inner voice, the difference between me and the Almighty is I premeditate my words before I speak on my words. The Almighty speaks swiftly. There's no premeditation. The Almighty just go for it. It's always the voice that we ignore. We tell ourselves, shut up. I don't want to hear that right now. No, you need to listen, because that could be the Almighty using your inner voice. Don't shut the Almighty down, baby. Because if you shut the Almighty down, you shutting down some powerful information that can uplift you, can elevate you. And now you're descending rather than ascending. Message. So I love this topic, and like I said, my intent for any and everything that I do is purpose. I had already said in my previous episode, probably the second episode before the previous, that my purpose have changed. My purpose is to heal, and that is my firm purpose. That's just not no regular purpose. It's my firm. That's the purpose that I'm sticking with. I'm not changing it no more. That's it. That's all. I'm elevating from there. And when I say my purpose is to heal myself. In the midst of healing myself, I'm quite sure others will be inspired to heal themselves as well. But it is not my responsibility to heal others. It's your responsibility to heal you. Only you can heal you, because only you know you more than anybody else besides the one that inhaled and exhaled through you, the Almighty. So that's my purpose, and I'm sticking with it. So when I speak on different topics, no matter what the topic is, whether it be sex trafficking, whether it be religion, whether it be these difficult topics that people don't want to discuss, whether it be education, whether it be Illuminati, whether it be MK Ultra, just any topic that people are scared to talk about. Anything that I speak on is to heal, to release that healing, not to withhold it and prevent other people from getting that same healing. At least getting the feeling of what healing sounds like, feel like. Like, I'm not finna withhold anything that can produce healing in some fashionable way, shape, or form. You can heal when you learn about these hidden things, or these things that a lot of people are scared to talk about. Because I'm not going to say people overall, because not everybody is scared to talk about these things. Obviously, because if everybody was scared to talk about it, I wouldn't know nothing about it. So obviously there are some brave people on this earth, and I'm happy to be an additional soul, that not necessarily soul, but a vessel. I am more than grateful to be a vessel of an unapologetic spirit, and using my vessel for a greater purpose. So I'm going to wrap this episode up, and I'm going to conclude it with, because the TV getting louder, people getting bored up in here. So I'm going to include this with, if you didn't learn anything else within this episode, please know that religion is equivalent to ideology. Which ideology are you willing to abide by? Or do you want to remove yourself from ideology and tap into what nature has to say? Because there's a difference between nature and ideology. Now, my religion is not nature. For nature is practical. Nature is not a theory. Nature is not ideology. It's practical, meaning it's already in its real form. It is not something that came from the mind. You cannot pull nature out of the mind. Nature was created, true enough, but it did not come out of a mind. Therefore, you cannot wrap nature in ideology. They are not two within the same. So I'm going to leave it at that. And like I said in my previous episode, I will conclude with always saying this from now on. Peace, love, Kaddish.